Hey, Podnutsians, welcome to Android App Addicts episode 547. This episode is brought to you by Chris B, aka the Math Coach. Thank you very much for your Patreon support, Chris. You started back in 2015. You're with us for a good long while. Again, thank you for all your support throughout the years. My name is DoorToDoorGeek. I am joined tonight by Josh. How's everything going, Josh?
I'm doing well, Dor. Thanks for asking. Today was the first day that I've actually babysat another child. So I have a kid that just turned one, and this other kid is 5 weeks younger. And we survived the entire day, managed to hand off the other baby alive, which is always good. And I thought I was, pretty much the champion at that point. And then it turns out that he found a tick in my yard that was embedded above his eyebrow. So apparently I do not win the Father of the Year award.
Well, the kid's still alive. Okay. Let's start with that. It isn't the end of the world. The key is they called it. Quicker is better. You know what I mean? Now the question is do they get to tick off with the head? You know what I mean?
Yes, this is not my wife's first rodeo at these things. So
that's a plus. Then that's a plus. Then just tell her you were making sure she had practice for our kid. Between,
that's what I said. I mean, at least it wasn't our kid, but apparently that doesn't go over very well either.
Well, yeah, well, okay. I would say it could be worse, but it could be worse.
It definitely could be worse. Everything went well. They're still with the 5 fingers and 10 fingers and 10 toes.
Very cool. So a quick question just about the live video here. Is your background actually like tealish green, forest green, dark green, or is it just looking like that?
It is. I'm actually in the forest right now, Dor.
Okay.
So
just wanted to make sure. I wasn't sure if it was camera white balance or me. I can't tell.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of the forest right now. So
okay, cool. Watch out for the bears.
I definitely will. How are you doing, Dor?
Well, I spent 3+ days of this week trying to recover a crashed server at work. Not fun whatsoever. Just to do the restore from bare metal from a backup was a 8+ hour process. So tomorrow morning we're going to find out if all the tasks and all the routines worked as they should. And if they didn't, well, I don't know what to say except we can always pay somebody to come in and configure everything right.
What type of backup do you use there?
Well, it's a bare metal type backup where it basically takes raw disk images of the VM. The good thing about VMware is it has a system in place called QSing, where it can actually go into an operating system, a running operating system, and ask it to slow down just enough when I'm getting ready to come by this file to get a clean copy of the file, so you won't get the file is in use type of error message. And it can even QS RAM, and it can actually take a snapshot of running RAM. So because of that, the backups that we run are actually really typically solid, like on point, easy to restore. The problem is the time it takes to do it is insane. And unfortunately, this server had 6 different drives on it, totaling like 4 terabytes of data. So, not fun.
Wow. Have you guys had any issues with like ransomware?
Oh, hell yes.
Okay.
But not as bad as everybody else, because we have an unbelievably competent staff at my government job where nobody in the government knows, nobody in our agency knows, but I know because the guy who does it lives like a mile and a half down the street. They've caught in like 3 separate instances where ransomware was on our network and started to cryptographically lock files and stuff, and they caught it as it was doing it every time, and every time was able to restore data from less than 15 minutes earlier and save the day. And none of them got raises, which I can't understand. You would think they would get bonuses, raises, free steak dinners, something.
Wow, it's a thankless job. when the ransomware comes through and takes over everything, then you're fired. but if you actually stop it, then
Yeah. 26 different county governments were nailed this past week in Texas. So I'm happy I don't work there.
That's so crazy. At this stage, how can that even happen?
Well, number one, it seems like patches aren't up to date. Number two, users are given too much direct access to things because it's much easier to give them access than deal with help desk calls and, slowly dole out permissions in a granular fashion. So,
And just, I suppose that there's lack of funding as well, or a claim of that anyway.
Well, I tell you, in my experience, governments and enterprises hate security because all you do is slow stuff down. How dare you, security, slow stuff down? And it's very hard to get people to understand the investment. Of course, it's becoming more apparent every day, but it's still difficult to get them to understand the total cost of ownership and the return on investment, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but except for that, I'll say I've had a dull week because I've just been busy slamming on that box a lot. Finally got it, up and running kind of thing, which was good. But now the question is, I just found out last week that my boss is leaving our agency to go work for DC. And I literally don't know what I'm going to be doing here in 2 weeks. We'll have to find out.
Maybe you're going to slide into their position. Corporate door.
No,
like it.
no. She was in a position called serving at the pleasure, which means at any point in time, somebody can walk in her office with no reason or excuse and say, get out. I will not work like that. No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But I'll say this, Ivor is going to try to jump in here, hopefully soon. If he does, he does. If he doesn't, we'll definitely talk to him next week. And I will now let everyone in on the, secret. Mark is completely slammed. Work since January has slowly became much more burdensome for him. It's been harder for him each week to come make a show. So when he has been able to make a show, it's been, really cool. But he's going to take a hiatus is what I encouraged him to say. He said, I'm too busy. I got to quit the show. I said, just take a hiatus. If in 3 weeks, 3 months, or 3 years, you feel like coming back on because you're bored, you can. But so right now, Mark's going to take a time out is what I'm going to say.
So basically what you're saying is that this is going to end up being completely nonsensical when the cat's away.
Well, yeah, kind of thing. Something like that. Hey, Ivor. It looks like you're muted here in Google Hangouts.
How's that?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good, thanks. Yeah. Oh, it's been a busy day. Man, I had to go take my son for a blood test. And we showed up at 9 a.m. And it's one of the things where you just take a number and wait your turn, book time. And we got there at 9 o'clock and there were like 4 million people there. Half of them looked like they were just about to throw up. So we left and decided we'd come back an hour later. An hour later, we came back. There were even more people there. So this is the wonders of a free health system. So we had to wait over an hour at the clinic for him. It took 2 minutes to get his blood taken. That was about it.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah, it didn't take very long at all. So yeah, we've been rushing back and forth to the clinic.
Gotcha. Well, I'm glad you made it back in time. Hope tomorrow's more sane.
Yeah, tomorrow's the weekend for us, so we'll spend some time relaxing. Hopefully.
Gotcha. I wanted to drop a quick link in the notes, and it's really to try to tell people the kind of stuff that we try to share on the Reddit stream over there on reddit.com/r/podnutz. This is a link to Android Police 12 temporary free and 27 on sale apps and games this weekend. this Wednesday. I will say the best deals in these lists that they post typically are the ones that end the quickest. Okay. Secondly, if you don't catch the show live, there's then a 3-day delay from when this gets published, which means this could literally be a week old list by the time you hear about it on the show. So if you need this kind of stuff as fresh as possible, I would encourage you to check out reddit.com/r/podnutz. Did you guys have a chance to take a look at any of these listings?
No, but I believe that there's something to do with Patreon too for an early access store. Is this correct?
Patreon, if you pledge $5 per month, not per episode, per month, you get a early access list of all the apps that I'm bringing to the show that evening.
There you go. So go and join Patreon right now. Sign up, get that early access.
Yeah, I will say with these free listings or free and on sale apps, it seems completely random whether or not you're going to see something on the list that you saw in the past or you like or you might like. I'll say with me, it seems like 1 out of 3 list, I find something that I really do want to click and follow through either on a sale or on a free short-term basis thing. But I'll say in this list, I didn't really see anything that caught my eye per se.
Well, that's where apps like App Sales, which has been brought a couple times on this show, are fantastic apps for this, where you can look for apps that are on sale every day or apps that are even free for a limited time. That's where I got Ivor's favorite game, that whatever, the unbelievable ball game for free. I mean, I saved $450, so check out App Sales.
Very cool. I will say one of the games on the list, Titan Quest, I have heard rumblings on other shows and stuff. Supposedly a really good game. The other one on the list that rang a bell was Rima, the story begins at venture game. So I apparently did buy this in the past, or I bought it on sale because normal price in the US $450, on sale price $199. I believe I bought this before, is what I'll say, in the past. Yeah, this was a very artsy game, is what I'll say. My oldest son thought it was one of those beautiful, slow-paced games. Yeah, so if you want up-to-date links to this kind of stuff, you got to join us on Patreon or Reddit.
Yeah, and the Android Police website does a really good job of scraping together all sorts of different types of apps, from icon packs to wallpapers to all sorts of games. It's really worth a look. I think they post it once a week, up to like about 50 different apps. It's great.
Yeah, I will say they do publish faster when they think there's better stuff on that list. If it's just normal stuff, they typically wait till it's a big list.
Hey, did you hear though? There's sorry to interrupt. Just the Google Play Store is bringing in an extra reviews into all new apps. Did you see that in the news?
Extra reviews?
Yeah, they're going to get people to actually check them. It's no longer be an algorithm.
Huh.
So if you're, I think this is just a response to the amount of malware that's been sneaking in adware. Now it's unclear whether it's going to be people or extra algorithms checking it, but it's going to lead to a delay of at least a couple of days in getting the apps checked. I think this is a good thing, based on what I said last week. There's far too much rubbish in the App Store, and it's about time developers started getting serious about producing some worthwhile content.
Well, I'll say the only bad thing is any reviews or any review system open to the public will be gamed. The only question is do they control it enough, kind of thing. What I hate to say is if Google notices or can prove that they're making money because good reviews are driving sales, then I'll say, to be honest, the only option they have is to pay reviewers for reviews. So you have credible people log into the system with a goal of giving good reviews.
Yeah, the crap apps just tend to pay people to give them good reviews anyway. There's whole farms out there of people just putting good reviews onto rubbish apps. I think someone definitely needs to take a look at the apps, just like Apple does. A human being needs to sit down, have a look at the app, and see what it does.
Well, Apple's completely gamed. You can take any podcast, pay less than $20 over to an Indian farm, which has been documented on the podcast Darknet Diaries, and your podcast will appear on New and Noteworthy, even though you've been out for 5 years. And they did it 3 different times, and they proved how their reviews are just as scammable as anybody else's.
And I posted a graph on the Reddit board a while ago showing that basically most of the apps on the Play Store have a 4.5, between 4 and 4.5,
right,
as their review score. But I'm talking more like the general quality of apps themselves, and the propensity for developers to load them up with adware, and so the ads themselves just become platforms for ads. And this is becoming, in my opinion, it's out of hand. And Google's doing the right thing, I think, by slowing it down and making sure that every app that goes on there has been checked and certified.
Well, according to their terms and service, do you know what is allowed as far as ads?
I haven't checked the terms of service, but there are apps that deliberately employ adware that will serve you nothing but ads, for like 5 minutes. I mean, the last lot of malware that got picked up was apps that, I think about 8 or 10 apps that basically just served you an ad for 5 minutes before it let the app do anything. And so, if you get an app that serves you an ad for 5 minutes, that's the purpose of the app, to serve you an ad. And I'm worried that kids are out there clicking on what looks good and downloading this rubbish onto their phones and putting all sorts of vulnerabilities and issues onto their device and their own home networks.
Yeah, I would say it's a very difficult cat and mouse game. The example I'll use is there was a Ukrainian malware that was released into the wild that realized your IP address, and if you had the right set of IP addresses, it would not infect your computer and it would delete everything off of it. That's so the local government wouldn't come after them. So thusly, ad people could say, if you're coming from a known Google IP address, don't display 5 minutes of ads. And then if Google tries to figure out ways to mask that, then they'll say, okay, if you don't have 5 days worth of normal behavior on your phone, don't show the ads. I mean, and they'll just keep making it more difficult. Because Google's core business is ads, that is a very difficult line for them to walk, where Apple doesn't make its money off of ads. It doesn't make its core money off of ads. I think it's easier for them to be harsher for that kind of thing.
Yeah, they want to have much more control over their own ecosystem, and that makes sense. I think Google was too reliant on algorithms before, though, and a lot of stuff was getting passed.
Well, and just a quick rant, and that is, whenever I hear anybody talk about Apple and try to say how they care about privacy, they're more privacy focused, they are unbelievably not. They are absolutely the opposite of privacy. As far as they're concerned, you as a user have no privacy. They own you completely. And the difference is they don't share your privacy with other people outright. They keep it to themselves to try to maximize their own profit. They are doing everything in their power to maximize your tendencies as an Apple user to pay them as much money as possible. So there's no privacy on the Apple platform if you want to talk about self-privacy. Now, if you want to talk about privacy between you and the manufacturer, yes, you have a lot of privacy on Apple if you're okay with them sticking their hand down your pants and manipulating you.
I'm okay with that.
Well, I don't know where Tim Cook's hands have been.
I just posted a link in in the chat of the actual Google Play developers monetization and ads. Basically, their
Which chat?
EULA, the YouTube chat. So if anyone is interested, which I don't know if anyone actually is, but it gives a list of all of their rules and regulations as far as ads go.
I don't see it.
It's in there.
I thought I'll say this. I thought I had on the chat that anybody could submit links to the chat, because other chats I've been in on YouTube, only certain people can do URLs. Where I don't care, anybody can do URLs.
Huh, interesting. Well, I just put it into our Hangouts chat as well. But it's kind of an interesting. I mean, from just a tertiary glance here, I don't see anything that says you can't have obnoxious ads in your app as long as they're not. It has to be within your app. It can't be third-party ads, and it can't be interfering with other apps, and it can't impersonate the user interface for any app, and you can't have people accidentally touching something and going to an app, things like that.
Click jacking, where they will put like an invisible ad over top a game, and you click what you're thinking is the game. You click the ad. They do pass the click down the layers to the game, so you really do think you click the game, but in fact you click an ad. That was very popular like 2 years ago. Gotcha. Well, one other link I wanted to bring, just because I mentioned it, I believe 2 weeks ago now, is and this is from Lifehacker, and it's basically oh no, this was the other link. Lifehacker has a good article about the Google Go app and why you want it on your older Android device. No, that's not true. You want this on any Android device where you care about speed and performance. Okay. Basically, this is the Google app, the normal Google search app with the normal news feed and stuff like that, but it's in what they call like Go form. The entire app download, I want to say it was 18 megs, where the normal Google app, I believe, is over 80 megs. Long story short, the real reason I'm bringing this app is there's an entire Go series of apps, whether it's Maps Go, or whether it's Photos Go, or whether it's Files Go, or any of them Go, and you will get a much lighter experience on your Android device. So even if you have a brand new device, but you crave as much speed as possible, I definitely encourage you, instead of downloading Google Maps, download Google Maps Go. If you want a more quicker Google interface, like Google Assistant interface, download Google Go. It gives you a lot of the same functionality with like a tenth of the weight of the normal application.
That's interesting. I don't know how I did not know that. One thing I have done though, since we talked about Greenify, I think last week, an app such as that is I've put on the battery saver on my phone, and it seems to make quite a difference, and I can't even tell what it's stopping or why it is saving battery. So I just have that on all the time now, and it seems to increase the battery during the day.
Very cool. I know a week and a half ago, some users were complaining that there was a silent background Google Play Store or Google Framework app that came down that actually caused some people's battery usage to go like crazy off the hook. And there was another silent update in the last week that was basically patching exploits that people, I don't think, are completely sure what the exploit was, but there was a emergency security patch that came down to phones. One of the reasons why I like abusing my phone the way I do is I literally twice or so every 3 months, I catch a progress meter in my notifications shade, and I pull it down and I look real quick, and it literally says updating Google Play services. And when I click it, it just goes to the Google Play page just the store, and then a half a second later or so, the store disappears and comes back. So there's much more updates going on these phones than we are aware of, is what I'll say, because they try to do it silently. But because, I listen to the phone, 8+ hours a day, I kind of catch these kind of things.
I've had a real problem lately. It's been probably 2 weeks where there'll be an overlay on the screen that says that Google Play Services has stopped or has crashed, and it pops up 5 times a day, and I can't tell that it's doing anything except annoying me.
And that's on the Pixel, is it?
That's on the Pixel, yeah.
Well, what I would say is, to me, like the troubleshooting steps is go into your home settings, apps, find the 2 apps, Google Play Services and Google Play Store. And when you go to uninstall them, what you're actually doing is reverting them back to the oldest version that you can put on that phone, and then let them go through the upgrade process again. I've had some success doing that.
It's a good tip.
Okay. Now the one link I was trying to bring earlier, and this is the kind of thing I really hope it's a trend. I hope it's not just, a random happenstance, but Extreme Tech, which I will say is one of those sites that's been around for easy 10, 15 years. Once in a while, they have really good content on the site. Running my Pi hole with much more block list enabled makes this site much more usable and doable. You right there, Ivor? Okay. Makes this site much more enjoyable and much more viewable, is what I'll say. If you, the viewer of this show, looks at the YouTube video and sees the page I'm seeing, you'll see there's dramatically less ads. Now, with that said, Google phone sales up dramatically, is what they say, thanks to the Pixel 3a and the 3a Max, I believe it's called. Google, I think, is starting to see and to become believers in $1,000 phones is not going to nab you a lot of sales. The truth of the matter is, there's no problem with letting Apple get 20% of the phone sales, which, let's be honest now, they do not have even half of the phone sales, bottom line, period. And they're getting less and less and less each year, which is why they're moving to services. Let them have that $1,000 market. Let them and Samsung fist fight over everything. And if Google were to allow themselves to offer a true mid-quality phone, but at a fair, reasonable price, my logic is their phone sales would literally explode. It would be really difficult for them to compete with the numbers of Samsung or Apple or a lot of other companies. But I do think they could make a genuine dent in the Android market.
Yeah, this is really interesting. The Pixel 3a is exactly the phone that Google needed to come out with at this time. It is, it carries the same camera capabilities. It's a solid all-round mid-price, mid-tier phone, and that's what people want. And they're clever because they're making a play for the Indian market. The Indian market is the only market that has any growth potential left in it. Every other market, Europe, America, you name it, is currently declining. People are hanging on to their phones longer. They don't want to spend $1,500, $1,000 on a brand new phone that has all these weird gimmicks on it. They just want a simple phone that takes good photos, makes calls, and does texting. And they can play Candy Crush on occasionally as well. And that's the majority of the phone market.
But they also have a lot of really inexpensive cell phones in that region that I don't know. It seems to me that it would be difficult for them to compete with what's the 3A. It's still $450, $500. Is that
yeah?
Right?
They're up against the Xiaomi's and the Umidijis and all those guys who are producing just crazy prices. They're just mass production and very low margins, high volume, low margins.
Well,
yeah, sure.
Well, yeah, I'll say listening to a network called Free to Choose It's about free markets, economics, and fiscal stuff going on. India in the next 15-ish years will by far be the #1 economy in the world, period, bar none. There's nothing anybody can do about it just because of the number of people. Secondarily, right now, India has more people growing out of poverty than ever before in the history of the world. The example I give is we used to make fun, and this is what I said to my Indian coworker today. I said, we used to have this trope where people would make fun saying that you would call up tech support or call up some phone number and you would get transferred to India, where the guy would say, "Hello, my name is Bob." But of course his name wasn't Bob, and he wasn't in Cincinnati. He was in India. Virtually all of those jobs have left India because they don't pay enough. Because India's market is rising to where they are getting much better jobs, much better pay, much better freedom, much better things in their life. And one of the biggest vendors to capitalize on their recent growth is OnePlus. If you scroll down in this article, you can see the Q2 2019 changes by OEM. OnePlus had a 152% increase in sales then, okay? And their phones are around $400. The Indian people I know say the people in India love getting nice things because it just shows that they're being successful, they're doing the right thing kind of thing. So I do think there's probably enough of a sales market in India for a $300 to $500 phone for the people who really want nice things, because the one thing we got to remember is computers are not over there. Computers over there are in offices to do work. Almost nobody has a computer at their house unless they're self-training to make themselves better. Everyone does all of their computing on a phone. So it isn't just, a device to Instagram meals or to WeChat or Facebook, but they literally do their daily lives on these devices.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And it's the same, I think, with China.
I think we might be picking up the wrong mic there, Ivor.
Yes, I've seen this as well in developing countries in general, where every single person has a phone of some type. And you're right, there's no personal computers, laptops. Everyone is doing all of their business on a phone, which unfortunately is a lot of Facebook, and then WhatsApp, which is also Facebook. But
yeah, and I will tell everyone, no, the Pixel 4 is not the answer. Trust me, the Pixel 4 will be a $600, $700, $800 device, because it takes between 18 and 24 months for a phone to go from concept to being sold in stores. So this phone was thought up and dreamed up at least 18 months ago. And 18 months ago, Google was thinking the Pixel 2 launch was actually pretty good. Maybe we need a more expensive phone. So I don't expect it to be cheap whatsoever.
Jim Dennis in the chat, who I believe is my father, said he's having the same Google Play Store issue. So I'd imagine that's the one I was talking about. And he was just visiting, so maybe it's on my network. Maybe he caught it like a tick.
Well, and don't be shocked. I will say the one thing about running Pi-hole on your network: make sure you have access to the admin console, and then once in a while go and say suspend my Pi-hole for 2 hours and see if your things start to act right.
Yes, I've had to do that. I've also had to whitelist quite a few websites that I've tried to go to. So, and it is, I really like having that access to my network, and to be able, I'd much rather whitelist than blacklist.
I agree. One more Android news related thing I just wanted to bring to the show, and that's not because of dark mode. I could care less about dark mode in any shape, way, or form about as much as I care about rounded corners on icons. I don't need either one of them at all. I have no problem going up to my phone and sliding the brightness up and down. I don't need bright mode, light mode, or dark mode. But Android Q AMA reveals their vision about desktop mode. And I will say this: expect desktop mode to become more and more and more the normal in more and more and more Android devices. And what desktop mode is you take a USB enabled phone, and when you plug it up from your phone directly to a computer or to a computer or a screen, imagine a full desktop experience on that screen. It's what they've been hinting and sliding towards a little bit more and more. The Samsung Dex is becoming more and more usable and on more and more devices with less and less restrictions or hardware needs. Before, you had to have the Dex dock. The latest version, you don't need a Dex dock. And it looks like Android Q is going to start to introduce this desktop mode even more. It might take another 3 or 4 years for it to become normal on devices, but I do think it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I have this. Does that sound good?
Still the wrong mic, Ivor, or something. But you look good. You look real good.
Is that?
So do you think, Dor, that's where it's going? I mean, realistically, that people are going to have their personal computers just be their phones?
Well, yes, but here's like the real truth. Like, imagine you're in India, you don't have full computers. You pull down your notification shade. Here's another way it can be done. Pull down your notification shade and you tap on an icon called Miracast. And then it connects to a dongle that's connected to your television. And then what's displayed on your television is a full desktop computer. You then Bluetooth a keyboard and or mouse into your phone. You set your phone down on the table. You use your keyboard and mouse to your TV as a full desktop-like experience. Those kinds of things I think will only become more and more popular.
Well, especially when you're getting these phones that have 6, 8, 12 gigs of RAM. I mean, what can't you do?
Yeah, I mean, like 8 years ago, desktop computers became too powerful for what 80% of the people need 99% of the time. Phones are becoming more powerful than what 80% of the people need 90+% of the time. Not that I have a problem with that or anything.
No, that's the one thing I'm starting to desire a new phone. I've enjoyed this Pixel XL for quite a while. But I'm finding that 32 gigs is not enough, which sounds kind of ridiculous to say out loud, but it doesn't have a micro SD slot, so there is no possibility of expanding the storage, which is just kind of brutal.
Well, and I'll say in every version of Android, having the micro SD slot is a false sense of security because you think you'll be able to plug it in and voila, it will just work, expand your internal storage, but it really doesn't. It's really kind of difficult to make apps use it. You have to go through the apps and forcibly say, do not use internal, use this instead. Then you don't get the speed and performance or the reliability of the internal disk. So, and you got to remember, it says 32 gigs. You are never given 32 gigs of space. Best case scenario, you have somewhere like 18 to 20 gigs of space.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing though, going forward, I think that my next phone will have that micro SD slot, and I would also like dual SIM card capabilities as well.
Yeah, I like the option of dual SIM, and the reason I like micro SD is so you can load stuff on it, like loads of videos, loads of songs, external type content. I still need at least, my phone has 32 gigs internal and I never run out of space, but I also stream almost everything. And my podcast listening, as soon as it's done with that podcast, it deletes the episode.
Well, another hot tip is that go through and clean your cache for Chrome for the browser. I actually went in there, and at one point there was something like 3 gigs of data that the browser was storing on my phone, and then another 500 megs in cache or something. So go through, if you're having a shortage of space, or just because, go through and delete all the data that's going on with Chrome.
Yeah, I'll say don't do it every day because you'll be killing your phone, kind of thing. Some of the data is going to be reused, repurposed, so you don't have to re-download. It doesn't have to rewrite, but you should do it. At least my logic is every 3 months, because it will grow ridiculously fast. Android is supposed to clear out space when it becomes needed. It doesn't seem like it does it very timely, in my opinion.
So what does it claim that it will clean out in order to gather that space?
Well, when internal space gets low, it's supposed to delete like a X percentage of the oldest part of the cache. Stuff that
So-
hasn't been used in a while.
Just the cache. It won't go into data.
Data is really difficult for it to want to self-regulate.
Didn't Google come out with an app called File Store?
Nah, it's definitely not using the right mic, Ivor.
But he got such a nice mic.
I know. I know. Well, do you have any apps there, Josh?
I could probably do something. The first one is called Particles Fluid Galaxy LWP by Rubbish Collector. It has an average of 4.4 reviews out of 200. 4.1 megs in size, requires Android 4.0.3 and up, 100,000 plus installs, updated September 19th, 2018, current version 1.1. And it is just, it's pretty, Door. That's all I can say. It's pretty. Yeah, it turns your screen into a bunch of brightly colored particles, and you can use your finger to drag them around, and then it gets more pretty. And then it also, you can use it as a live wallpaper. And so I've had it on my phone for a couple weeks now, and it yeah, I can try to show. Oh, here, actually, you know what? I'll open the app. So it doesn't really have a purpose as far as I can tell, except to look pretty.
Yeah.
So when you drag it around in the app, it drags the particles around like a magnet on Etch-a-Sketch. And then, but when you have it as your wallpaper, when you use when you select an app or do whatever, it's in the background doing the same thing. So it's following your finger around. And
Gotcha.
when I say it out loud, it sounds actually pretty lame, but it's,
No, to me, this is one of those like pretty apps where quite literally, if you're suffering from stress in any shape, way, or form, Serenity Now, load this on your phone, find a quiet place, not on the toilet, but find a quiet place and just load this app and just witness its, pleasing colors and patterns and manipulate it, kind of thing. And I'll just say the app developer name Rubbish Collector, that alone makes me want to buy something from them, because that is a fantastic name.
I knew you'd like that. That's one of the reasons I brought it, Door, just for that name.
Yeah, very good find indeed.
And you can set the size of the the particles and the number of particles and things like that if you want to get a little more in depth.
Yeah, I am tempted to put this on my youngest son's tablet because let's just say his anger sometimes gets away from him a touch. So, I'm tempted.
And I'm not a huge fan of live wallpapers, but this is the best one I've had. Just kind of in the background. That's what I would recommend it for that, if nothing else.
Gotcha. Well, and since you saw better battery life, why not,
Destroy it.
destroy it? Yes, I didn't say it. Okay. Well, speaking of like Serenity type things, the app I'm going to bring is Bycatch app, which should come with a warning or disclaimer. Could be addicting, or could be ad ridden, or could be both, or could be fun. This does have ads in it. There is a way you can in-app get rid of the ads. It's called Origame, Origame Bycatch app. Puzzle game, 22,000 reviews, does contain ads and in-app purchases. 99% sure you buy the in-app purchase, you then have no ads. Completely free to download, 3.7 average reviews. Updated August 22nd, 2019. 45 megs in size, 1 million plus installs. Current version 1.4.1. You need Android 5.0 and up. Content rating E for everyone. $299, I believe, is the full price of the app. It needs storage permissions, photo, media files, and normal network access. I'll say this: I have done a lot of origami in my life, tons, ridiculous. I literally have like cases of paper at my office underneath my desk with lids on them that are just filled to the brim with origami stuff I've made. Because I could never leave it here because the kids would destroy it. So I took it to work. Thankfully, the cleaning crew hasn't thrown it away. This is an origami inspired puzzle game, is the only way I can explain it. Okay, really quick origami lessons. There's mountain folds and there's valley folds. The mountain fold you fold underneath, the valley fold you fold over top, mountain or valley. That's like right there. That's most of origami. Okay. The only question is, where do you start and where do you end the fold at, and where's the fold line? Okay. What this game does is it first takes you through very basic, very explanatory. Fold this from one corner to the other, and then it gives you a percentage on how tight you got it. And then, okay, level passed. Then it shows you to fold it in half the other way from the flat side to the flat side. Oh, okay, level passed. Then it does like one or two of those. And then it starts to not tell you where to start and where to end, but it tells you what shape you're supposed to end with this fold. So then you have to look at the paper and see, okay, well, let me start here and end here. Okay, success. Then it gets a little bit more complicated to where you have to make two folds in order to make it fit inside the shape that it's in. And then it eventually leads you through a path of an actual origami thing of making stuff. This is maybe the most fun and interactive way I've seen to learn basic origami. I really do encourage people, if you like the idea at all about folding paper, not cutting paper, not taping paper, but just folding paper and making things, I think this was actually a good amount of fun. I do encourage you, more than likely, minute and a half into it, you're just going to want to pay the price and get rid of the ads because the ads are bad.
Yeah, that's what the reviews are saying. Like, that's the main concern. What's do you know what the price is to actually purchase it?
I believe it's $2.49. That's the $2.99 US is what I'm going to say. If you go to the app page in the store, scroll all the way down, $2.99 per in-app item.
Okay, there's another one there on the sidebar called Paperama as well, which has very good reviews.
Gotcha. Can't say I saw that one, but it also has contained ads and in-app purchases.
Yeah.
So it's probably a similar kind of thing.
And since you congratulated me so well on the app developer name for my app, I would also like to congratulate you on your app with Origame Catch App by Catch App.
Yeah, Catch App's a good name. Okay, do you have any more apps there, Josh?
I do. This one is called LaserBreak. I think it's LaserBreak 2 when it comes down to it. LaserBreak 2. So this is it's a type of puzzle game where it's sort of a single room, and you have, in general, one laser. Sometimes there's two lasers, I believe. And then there are different mirrors and different types of mousetrap type devices where you have to melt ice so that a ball rolls in and breaks glass, which then triggers something else, which blows a fan. And there are 2 golden coins that the point is to get them to certain locations per level in order to get maximum amount of points. And I've really quite enjoyed this game.
I'm not gonna lie, I was completely swerved. I'm like the meme football player. You know, you had me about halfway through because I first thought I knew what the game was, because we've all seen the tile-based board game like laser games where you have to spin the things and diffuse the layers. So, no, this is not this whatsoever. This is like a side-scrolling platformer view, and what I'm having a difficult time looking at or figuring out is what do you, because you can't interact with everything on the screen. So what can you interact with?
You can adjust the laser. The round, there's a round laser shooter thing, and you can adjust that to different angles to go off mirrors and whatnot. And then there's also some boxes which shoot a laser only in 4 directions: up, down, left, right. And so you can manipulate those to go in a certain direction, and then you have to move those around to certain spots to shoot. On the screen, you can see the little red dots.
Right.
And so you hit those are buttons basically. So if there's one that is connected to a blower, you hit that, and it starts the fan, which moves whatever is in front of the fan. And there's some sliding platforms, and then there are also some black holes which you go through and end up somewhere else. So
yeah, there's a lot of different things going on in like every stage.
Yeah, it's quite fun. Quite fun.
Very good find. And was this free?
Oh man. I think it looks like I think it's $1.99 in Canada, so it's probably free in the States.
$2.49 right now in the
Holy
US.
smokes.
Which I will say isn't bad. So let me first just click on the developer, because what I like doing is they do have a LaserBreak for $1.99.
Okay, that's the one I was just looking at.
And then they have LaserBreak Escape for 99 cents and LaserBreak Renegades for 99 cents. They have a whole bunch of them. I wish they would offer like a free demo version of just like one level.
This is another one that I got off of app sales when it was free.
Gotcha.
So but it is quite fun, and it's not boring, that's for sure.
Very cool. This app I wanted to bring, honestly, I wasn't sure. I tried to find out beforehand if it had any Canadian, whatever the word is, information, and I couldn't find out or not. I will say this. I'm not sure if it does. It's called Hipcamp, camping app, tent RV, cabin, campgrounds by Hipcamp Inc., travel and local. 13 reviews, E for everyone, completely free to install, no in-app ads, no in-app purchases, 4.3 average reviews. Updated August 2nd, 2019. 7.8 megs in size, 5,000 plus installs. Version 1.4.1 requires 5.0 Android and up. Again, content rating E for everyone. Permission, location, Wi-Fi, and internet data. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the icon for this Hipcamp I've seen while traveling the roads. I'm not sure if it's affiliated with something like real campground related or not, but I think it might be.
Well, it is a tent.
Well, yes, that's thanks for Captain Obvious. What I'll say is if you at all enjoy going camping or RVing or your family members do, this is a really good app. The level of detail I saw when I opened this app was kind of shocking. And for campgrounds and places that are in their network, you can actually book reservations through the app. Well, it at least gave me the ability to go in like one click and book a reservation through the app. And it has definitely pictures of all kinds of stuff going on. Talks about events going on at campgrounds. I was genuinely shocked at how cool this app was and how much information it had in it. But it is called Hipcamp, so I guess they're trying to attract the hipsters. I don't know.
Well, it almost looks like Airbnb for camping.
I'll go for that. Yeah, that's a fair way to put it.
And it, or glamping is, I just installed it. So I was looking at it. That's one of my favorite terms, glamping.
Yeah, my father-in-law has, I don't even know. I'm going to guess $20,000 RV. I don't know. It's expensive. I'm sure it's expensive. And my wife constantly tells him, you don't go camping. You go glamping. You have a friggin' full stove and a fridge. That's not camping.
And just to clarify, it doesn't look like it is Canada. Looks like it's just the States. So Ivor's out of luck as well, maybe.
Wow. I guess. I don't know.
And BW's Electronic in the chat says maybe it's for the nudist camps.
Only one way to find out, BW. Okay, do you have any more apps there, Josh?
I do, Dor. I do. This one is called I Became a Dog.
All righty.
And I can't say that I played it for very long, but it is a pretty interesting concept. It's by We Like Games. It has 4.4 average reviews out of 26,821. And requires 4.1 and up. 100. No, that's not 100,000. That's 1 million plus installs. 15 megs in size. I guess that's 8-bit. Would you say?
8-bit-ish.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, so what it says is, ugh, my head hurts. I don't remember what happened, though I recall falling asleep yesterday after drinking like a fish. I just woke up now and realized I had become a dog. What a crappy situation. I should come to my senses and look around. I should look for a way to go back to being a human. And that's where you start. And you have to go around the house and find clues, and then you have to eat the kibble with the other dogs in order to be able to understand what they're saying. And yeah, you go around and
it looks like you catch bugs, and that's money or currency you can use.
Yeah, that part. There's just a lot of bugs, and I was eating bugs, and I never did get to where it mattered what the bugs. To tell you the truth, I played it for a while, and it took me forever to figure out that I needed to eat the dog food, because it's not obvious that you could be somewhere else, and then this dog food platter just shows up somewhere else, and so you don't even see it. So you have to eat the dog food. It's crap, actually. You know what? This game sucks.
Are you sure?
I don't. Maybe going
because it has the badge of being a editor's choice game.
Yeah. I don't know. I ate so much dog food, Door, and never made it out of the first room of this game.
Well,
And it did take me a while to figure out, like I said, to eat the dog food. So maybe someone else give this thing a try and send an email to aaa@podnutz.com and let us know if it's any good, because I think it could be fun. Just make sure at the beginning you find where the dog food is and then you eat it
yeah, early.
early. I just tried to figure a way to lick myself, because I mean, if you're a dog, what else are you going to try to do first?
Well, yeah. I ain't gonna lie. I'm installing this
Do it, Door. Do it.
just to see what the hell is going on here. And they do have a I Became a Dog 2, just in case one wasn't enough for you.
Well, I mean, it takes a real special person to turn themselves into a dog twice.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. And honestly, I'm very tempted, like, shove this game on my youngest son's tablet just to see, what he says about it, because he always has something interesting to say. And I'll say, a true intellectual in American pop culture once said, "You know how dog food tastes just like it smells, right? Delicious."
Well, I would be interested if you have him play this, and then we need some quotes. You should start bringing quotes from him for different games that he tries.
You have no idea how afraid I am to ask him questions sometimes, is what I'm going to say. Okay. I'll try to remember. Okay.
Hey guys, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
How's that? I'm back onto Linux now. Windows has all sorts of problems, and I'm back onto the webcam microphone, which is not the best. So I'm sorry about that. I'll get it. I had tested all this before we started, but obviously back to the way they were before. So I will make sure it works next time.
Okay. This app I want to bring, I may want to bring, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, two of the people on this app is Penn, Gillette, and Teller. Penn and Teller. I believe they have a master's class. This is not free. Nothing about this is free. Okay, it's called MasterClass. Learn how to cook, sing, act, and more. By MasterClass Inc. Education, 2,500. Of course, it offers in-app purchases because nothing's free, except the installation. 4.8 average reviews. Updated August 20th, 2019. 30 megs in size. 100,000 plus installs. Current version 1.4.4. Requires 5.0 Android and up. Content rating is E for everyone. Permissions, it basically needs storage, Wi-Fi, photo, and normal network type settings. The in-app purchases are $90 to $180, which basically means 1 year of this for $90 and 2 years of it for $180 is the way I perceived it. You're basically learning from the experts. People like Gordon Ramsay talk to you about cooking. Professional athletes tell you how they train. All kinds of things like that. True celebrities in their field are sitting down explaining to you what they know about whether it's photography, literally cooking, sports, magic, poker, all kinds of different things. I'll say this: if you go onto YouTube to learn stuff, you never know about the quality of video or audio or content that you're going to get. That's the gamble you take when you go onto YouTube. If you use this app and pay the price, you will only find what is widely considered the best of the best of the best, explaining to you what they know. And to get those people to sit down long enough to explain what they do, they are not going to do it for free. So that's why it costs money.
Well, is that for the entire app, the in-app purchases, or are you paying $90 to have Penn show you magic, and then another $90 for Gordon Ramsay to show you how to make pancakes.
When I looked at it, it was basically a subscription for a year and you get everything you want.
So why are there different prices for the?
Well, one is for 1 year, one is for 2 year subscription.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's like buffet. Once you pay the price, all you can eat.
What do you get before you have to? Do they give you a sampler, a poo-poo platter, or what?
I'm going to guess it's just nothing more than promotional videos if you download the app without the thing. Or it literally forces you to log in and create an account beforehand. Because I literally just saw this minutes before the show and I had experience with it. Let's just say I had access to this for a week from a friend who gave me the creds. It was pretty good stuff on there. I just can't part with $90 to sit through videos that I can't speed up.
Oh, really? So it's just a pretty generic player.
If there was a way to speed it up, I couldn't figure it out. Maybe on the web there was a way to do it, but on mobile I couldn't.
Okay, so this is not just an app; it's a website as well.
Yes. It's a full-blown website that you can access on desktop.
Ah, clever. So that gives you access to the app and the web.
Right. I'm just bringing it to this show like this because they just happen to have an Android tie-in app.
Yeah, that's
See how to swear like Ramsey?
I already do. That's why I'm at the position I am at work.
Sure, I'm shocked. Not you, surely.
I'll just say, work is painful sometimes.
I hear you.
Okay. Do you have any apps, Ivor?
I do. I have an interesting app. It's called HomeLog, and I'll just paste the link in the chat. 1 minute. Now, I came across this app yesterday, and I thought it was a great idea. Have you got the link?
No.
Oh, it's in the chat. Sorry. Did not come through. God, technical problems today. Hang on.
if you went to
Okay,
Australia,
yeah.
you wouldn't have these problems.
Where? Anyway, so I'm the sort of guy who has boxes and boxes of things, technical equipment, cables, tripods, modems, you name it. I've got them all stashed in various places around the house. I've got drawers full of them. I've got cupboards full of them. And what this app does is allows you to set up a database of everything that you want to set up, and info of it, and record the location of that particular item. And then it integrates with Google Home. So you can then say to your Google Home, where is my 56K modem? And it will check the database and come back and show you and tell you exactly where that item is. And this is from a developer who just thought it would be a good idea to do that because he forgets where a lot of things. And I thought it was really good to bring the integration of the database into the Google Home searchability. Did you get the link yet?
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to guess this actually, what it does is it ties in, I'm going to guess, with something like either Google Keep or Google Drive to store the information. Because I don't see how, well, let me rephrase it. No. Google now does have the ability to deep look inside an app. So even if you have this app on your phone and you talk to your separate Google Home Mini, it will know the answer?
Yeah.
Okay, well then, yeah, it has to be.
Also, yeah. Again, I haven't had too much time to look into it, and I'm going to be trying this out over next week. I'm going to be logging quite a few things and then checking it and seeing how it goes. But I'm actually, I thought it was quite a good idea to be able to say, hey, gee, where's my such and such, and it will tell you exactly where it is.
Yeah, this is great because usually I'm going to put it here so that I will never forget where it's at, and then 3
Yeah.
days later have no idea where it is. So here you go, Google. Have some more information about my house.
They've
Yeah,
got it all already, mate. They don't need it.
Yeah, and I'll just say a really quick follow up too from last week, Ivor. And for the people watching in the video chat, the Firewalla. Here's my NanoPi Neo case, with the board that goes inside of the NanoPi Neo. The Firewalla price for the cheap one, I want to say, was $100 in the US. This is a $9.99 computer you can get from AliExpress. All of the software that Firewalla runs is open source, freeware downloadable, but they're smart. Okay, I can download their software, I can put it on this device, I can connect it to my network, I can boot it up. But the very first thing you have to do when you have a Firewalla is you have to scan, using the app, the bottom of your case where there's a barcode. And what the barcode is a license key to their servers showing that you bought it. So I could hypothetically go through their site, buy a license key, load the software on this device and boot it. And then I should have the exact same functionality you have. So what it turns out, Ivor, is the $100 you're paying for is for support, number one, which ain't free. Nobody gives support for free. Good support, that is. And you're paying for the service kind of thing, which, don't get me wrong, I was interested enough to do all this. So that tells you that the software that is displayed is among the higher usable and really good information on it. I was just hoping I could, circumvent the system and, do my job of sticking it to the man, but I couldn't.
Well, you could, Dor. You would just take you quite a long time to patchwork all that together.
Well, I know if I were to find like someone else's license key and I scan it on my phone, what then would happen is if I make my device accessible through the public internet, then that other person would have access to my network.
But what are they doing? You say that the money is for support, but what exactly are they doing that the software on the device is not doing?
Well,
I've got my money worth on the support angle. I sent over 20 emails to the support staff for about 5 different issues. I had with my kids' devices and my own devices, and it took a while to get it sorted out. And they were very responsive. They have this functionality in there which allows remote access into the firewall and the network, and they just go in there and see what's going on and fix it all up for you. No problem. The only thing is they asked me to open up a remote access port for them and leave it open for up to 12 hours while they scheduled an engineer to come and have a look at what the issues were. I wasn't too happy about having to have that issue, that port open and the remote access backdoor open in my router for that long. But I told them that, and they came back within 2 hours and said, "Okay, we'll do it now."
Okay, so it is just literally support, because if it's open source software, I mean, they're not hosting your information on their servers. You're not using their servers as a VPN or anything like that. So it's all support. Well,
and they offer a gateway, which is pennies. It doesn't cost a lot of money, but they're offering you a gateway because you don't have to know your own home's IP address or anything. You basically bounce off of their servers to come into your network.
So you're saying that it's a gateway device, so it gets you into harder devices?
Well, it's a gateway device in the sense of if the company closes down tomorrow, don't reflash your device, because you will not get it back up and running again. And I'm unaware if it does any license checks periodically. If it does, then if the company goes away and the servers go down, the device will become a brick.
Well, I would give you a +1 for NanoPi hardware too. I do enjoy myself some NanoPis.
Yeah. So this is definitely cool. I will say the HomeLog app, Ivor, I don't have the energy to go around and log all my stuff. If I did,
No one has the time for this, but I do. So I would try it out at least. You know, I do this sort of thing every now and then.
gotcha. Did you go through your last app, Josh?
I'll bring one more, and the HomeLog too. I think that a brilliant app would be one where you go through and it's kind of like this, where you scan things, and then the app just says, "Just throw it away, just get rid of it." I could use that.
Yeah, mine would say a lot of that.
So this one is called VNC Viewer. I'm sure that a lot of people have heard of VNC. I use it quite a bit to access Raspberry Pis on my network.
Who is it made by? Do you know?
Real VNC Limited. 4.7 review, average reviews, last updated August 19th, 13 megs, version 3.6.0.41731, Android 4.4 and up. And it's just clean. It's good for what I want to do, which is VNC. Use VNC to access the desktop of a headless computer on my network. Don't really know what else to say about that, but if you need something like this, VNC Viewer, in my opinion, is definitely the way to go.
Have you heard of Fiverr?
So you're breaking up pretty hard, Ivor. I didn't hear what you said.
Sorry. Have you heard of Firewalla?
I've heard of Oddwalla.
Well, I'll say the good thing about VNC Viewer is VNC, completely open source. There's a couple versions of it. There's Tight VNC, Real VNC. Most of them are completely open source, so they've all been open audited, which is good. The other good thing about this is it does have an address book built in, so you can literally have multiple computers built into it to where you just click and you're in kind of thing. The other good thing is, I'll say, the bigger your screen you're using to do this application, the better your experience is. So if you have literally like a 10-inch tablet and use this app, you'll actually have a really solid experience.
Well, that's one of the issues that I had is I have a Raspberry Pi running the irrigation system in my garden and trying to access it, and it's something just the screen size set on the Raspberry Pi or in VNC, I just could not get the resolution correct. And so I was having a real problem seeing some of the pop-up windows, or, you know, when you click a drop-down menu, things like that. So c'est la vie, first world problems.
Well, and I'll add, the other good thing is there's a VNC client and server. The client, this is the client that you use. The server is what you're connecting to. So you have to install the server of VNC on whatever device you want to remote into. And it does work on Windows, Linux, Mac, and even Android. You can install a VNC server on an Android device and use this to remote in from an Android device to another Android device. The bad, never in your life use this on a public addressable computer. Do not open a port through your router to the public internet and have this enabled on your computers. on that, because VNC is the password. The way it sends passwords is very well known, and there's a maximum password character count you can use, which in any service, when there's a maximum digit of your password, you should worry to touch, is what I'll say. But if you have it on a trusted network in your own home network, this is a very useful application. I will say that.
Yes, it really is. And Raspbian, if you're installing Raspbian on your Raspberry Pi, it comes with a VNC server already installed. You just have to enable it.
Very cool.
So yeah, I think that Raspberry Pis are becoming even more popular now for just random people. So if we can figure out ways for usages for these things, and have easy access to them. And this is definitely one of those things where you don't need it hooked up to your TV, you don't need it hooked up to a monitor. You can have it sitting in a corner, and if you're not comfortable with SSHing into the terminal, then people can use this to access the desktop of their Raspberry Pis or any other computer for that matter.
Very cool. Okay, next app I'm going to bring, it's honestly a little bit like the app I brought last week, the Science on a Sphere application. This one is called Mobile Observatory 3 Pro Astronomy, which is a lot of words. The downside is this is $5.49 here in the US. Mobile Observatory 3 Pro Astronomy by Wolfgang Zima. Education, 629 reviews, E for everyone, does offer in-app purchases. 4.7 average reviews. Eligible for the family plan, updated June 6, 2019, 51 megs in size, 5,000 plus installs. Current version 3.0.12, 7.0 Android or up is needed. Again, E for everyone, 99 cents per in-app purchase. Permissions it needs is camera, photo, media files, location, storage, microphone, and other. This really does try to be like an all-in-one, dare I say, science center, but on your phone. If you're at all interested in planets, planetary movements, celestial objects, all that kind of thing, this is actually really, I'll say, crazy in-depth and detailed. And I will say, the bigger your screen, once again, the much better your experience will be on this app.
This
Does
looks
it have a
beautiful.
function? Sorry, does it have a function where you can just stand outside and point it at the sky and tell you what constellation you're looking at?
It will do actually more than that. You can point your camera at the sky and say, where is Venus? Okay, Venus, and then it will literally pinpoint where Venus is in the sky, and then it will show you a projected path timeline of, this is where Venus will be in the sky tomorrow. Here's where it will be in 1 week. Here's what it will be in 1 month. Here's where it will be in 6 months. And it can actually show you the pattern of how it's going to look in the sky over a set period of time. Or you can do it with the sun or the moon or any other thing in the sky. And yes, it can point out constellations or nebulas or anything in deep space as well.
Yeah, because it seems similarly priced to the other ones that are that do the the star guide, or night sky, that sort of stuff. And if it gives you that something extra, then it's worth paying the money for, I think, if you're an amateur astronomer. Have you got a telescope?
No, I don't. But I will say, I will hearken back to the Bad Astrometer, I believe is his name, on YouTube. The best thing to do if you want to get into it is don't buy a telescope, just buy binoculars. You can actually see a hell of a lot of stuff you can't see with your naked eye, just with a simple pair of binoculars. And then if you find yourself having fun, then you can take them to a pawn shop, get rid of them, and then get an actual telescope. Also, if you just go on a site like Meetup or other sites where you can find telescope groups, they literally plan outings at areas where you can go and they will talk to you, he said, for hours about telescopes, how they work, what's good, what's bad, what to look out for, what kind to get, and to let you use their telescope to look at objects as well. So you can see if you really find a lot of fun. No doubt, in conjunction with this app, you can have a lot of fun discovering what's already out there. And I'll just say it like this: there's nothing that has ever been written down or told in book or song form that is more fascinating or more shocking than what's happening in our own universe right now, every second of our lives. So I'm really like fascinated with this kind of thing. I mainly just sit back and watch YouTube videos about it because, I'm lazy.
This is a fantastic app, Door. I don't know if it competes with I Became a Dog, but it's a really nice app.
Well, we all have to do our part, kind of thing. Hey, do you have any more apps there, Josh?
You know what? I think I'm good, Door.
Okay. You have any more apps there, Ivor?
I have one more, and it's I'll just put the link in the chat. Okay, so this app is from The Economist, and I noticed I've come up with a couple of apps recently. This one is called World in Figures, and what it allows you to do is if you put an analytical bent, or if you want to have some facts and figures at your fingertips, like what is the primary agricultural product of the United States, or what is the primary export of Canada, or what is the land surface of New Zealand, then you can go to this app and it will show you some some nice demographics and charts on these sorts of demographic information from different countries, and how different countries rank in terms of their performance in particular areas. I yesterday and I spent a good an hour and a half just going through and saying, "Wow, I never knew that. Oh, wow, really? Is that what they do?" And I thought Zimbabwe would be lower or higher than that, and getting some really interesting facts and figures. It's quite good if you've got an analytical.
Very cool. And if anyone doesn't know, the Economist is a UK based publication network, I guess is the way I'll put it. They put out lots of articles in text, audio. I think they do have some video. And this is like a Economist type dream data pool. They try to base their content based upon economy, markets. They try not to base their stuff upon politics, religion, kind of thing, but they try to look at everything through the eye of economies, whether it be elections, whether it be transfers of goods, tariffs, a whole bunch of different things. So this is the kind of app I will find interesting. I wish there was one thing they did in this app and they don't. I wish every time they showed you any stat, they would show you the date when that stat was collected.
Well, I noticed that they were showing up to 2017. So I think if you go for the pro version, you can pay to get more up-to-date data, but the data I was getting didn't go past 2017.
I would also like to see where the data is from. Where the data is collected
well, The Economist
from.
has their own. They get all their stuff from the OECD and other sources, and they just sort of they have a whole bunch of reports that they include in every paper edition they do. So this is kind of a virtual version of that.
Nice, I like it.
Yeah.
Very cool. I'm going to bring one more app, and I'm just picking which one it is. This is another one, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just, okay, yeah. This is another one. It's I'm going to say an app as a service is what I'm going to say. And since I brought CryptoPad last week, this I'll say it's not as pretty. It's not as pretty, but you can at least what's called self-host this. You can load this server on a server you rent on the public internet or on an own server in your house, and it's called Turtle, Turtl. Basically, this is a secure collaborative notebook, is the way that they describe it. You can download the client for Windows, OS X, Linux, 32 or 64-bit Android. The Android just APK file, even iOS. There are bookmark extensions for Chrome and Firefox, where you can bookmark content directly to one of your collaborative notebooks. You can share your notebooks with other people. It's definitely very themable looking, is what I'm going to say. And you can assign like tags to your notebooks to make them more easily searchable and sortable. This is like another alternative in the world of note taking. The Turtle app, I'm going to try to make sure I have a link to the App Store as well, is by Lion Brothers Enterprises. Productivity, E for everyone, 445 reviews, completely free to install, no in-app ads, no in-app purchases whatsoever. 4.0 average reviews. Let me make sure I'm showing the right page to the video people. 4.0 average reviews. Updated December 7th, 2018, size 20 megs, 10,000 plus installs, current version 0.7.2.5, requires 6.0 Android and up, content rating E for everyone, permissions, photo, media, and storage, full network access, which I'll say obviously it does. I'm seriously considering using this app as my own like personal record keeping of links and just notes that I gather, is what I'm going to say. And they say it's collaborative. I would like to just play with it to see what kind of security it has on the collaborative feature, like how fine grained is the administration and stuff like that. So, and I can self-host it. I will say they don't make it super easy to find where to download it at. So if you just Google search TURTL space GitHub, then you'll find the server software right there. It's literally like the second link down, and you can easily download and install it. And I believe they even have a version you can download and install on a Raspberry Pi.
I was just perusing the GitHub, and it looks like there's a Firefox extension as well. So, I mean, that might be a pretty convenient feature to have browser extensions for something like this as well.
Yeah, it's all about the bookmarking, is what I'll say. And I did look at If This Then That to see if there was a way I could forward links to it from other services. And I don't know, I might not have looked right, but I couldn't find any.
This looks like an ideal tool for software developers or working on a project together. There's a group of them. They might find this useful if they're in different areas. Use the markdown format and the collaboration tools.
Yeah.
Looks good.
I could definitely see Teams getting some use out of this.
How does it compare to something like Evernote?
Not even close. Nothing comes close to Evernote. It's very mature. It does really good OCR. You can do voice notes, text notes, or pictures notes in Evernote. It's really hard to compete with something that's been around that long. If you need simple notes you can do pictures and stuff, this looks really good, is what I want to say. Simple notes. You can't do a lot
of free.
They do have I believe a free service, but they host the content, or you can just download the source code yourself and run it. If there was a price to get an account, I didn't notice it. They do have a premium version. Sorry, $3 a month or $8 a month for businesses. Free, you can store up to 50 megs of note data. $3 a month, up to 10 gigabytes of note data. Businesses, 50 gigs of up to note data with 50 users.
This seems like it'd be something
cheaper than Evernote.
Seems like it'd be something that would be pretty simple to host as well.
Yeah, that's my belief. But some people want convenience. Is their number one, so they do allow that option as well.
I actually use an app called DS Note, which is from Synology. So I used to use Evernote, and I switched to this self-hosted note app for Synology, and it's good. I've never had a problem with it. I only use it for written notes, but I know that you can take pictures and videos as well and store them as notes.
Does it store your notes on the NAS?
Yes, exactly.
Rather than doesn't we need the cloud?
I didn't catch that, Ivor.
It doesn't go anywhere near the cloud.
No, it's hosted in my office here behind the green curtain.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so all the notes are private then, so you don't have to worry about them being available to anybody else.
And I can back it up anywhere I want to. And
wow, I'm going to have to get a Synology, I think.
Yeah, the Synology, I've been quite happy with it overall. I have one of the cheaper ones that only has 512 megabytes of RAM. So someday I will upgrade that. But I've got two terabyte hard drives mirrored in it, and yeah, it's been fantastic.
Is it the RAM or the processor that's more important?
I would imagine it's a combination of both. I think that it's the RAM, which is the bottleneck on the one that I have. It has 512 megs, so I would like probably at least 2 gigs in there. But also, when I find the time, what I would like to do is...
Can you add RAM to it?
Not this one. Some of them you can. This one, it's on the board, so no. But I would like to... I've got several single board computers, which I'd like to put Nextcloud onto one of them again, actually, and then maybe try to use that instead of the Synology. But that takes time, and Dor knows some of the headaches about that. Well,
I'll just say I also know the headaches with Synology and getting crypto ransomware or having infections on that as well. The unfortunate thing is the unfortunate thing is the smarter the NAS, the more open to attacks, is what I'll say. Where you have a stupid NAS that just presents itself as a bunch of disk, has much less functionality to it, seemingly much less reliability and uptime, but more secure. So it's one of those trade-off things again.
Well, you're obviously not aware that there is no malware in Canada.
Oh.
Yeah, they're at illegally.
Is it called like Zedware?
It's malware, eh?
It apologizes after it installs itself.
Well, it does, but then it apologizes. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, there's the unfortunate thing is also there's a million different types of NAS things out there. There's no one solution that fit everyone's needs. But I will say the people I know with Synology never stop speaking highly about them. And that's rare.
Yeah, I've converted my media server to Linux, and it's having all sorts of problems recognizing the hard drive stored on my router, so which is where all my media estate is stored. So yeah, I'm going to try and change it.
Gotcha. I think we did have missed a couple emails is what I'm going to say. So I'm going to say Sorry for the delay. Chuck Green, if we did not thank you for your patronage. Steve A, back in June, thank you for your patronage. Charles, who's almost always in the chat, thank you for your patronage. And MPE just edited their pledge. Thank you for being a continued patron. I want to thank everyone for coming out to the live show. Again, if you want to come out live Thursday nights, 9 p.m. New York time. If you just subscribe to the YouTube link, you'll get a notification for it. Or if you join patreon.com/Android App Addicts, you can get a notification 10 minutes before we try and go live. If you want to send us an email, it's aaa@podnutz.com. If you want to send us a voicemail, you can send it in at 707-6podnuts.com. Really quick rundown. 12 temporary free and 27 on sale apps from Android Police. Then we have the Google Play Developer Policy Center about disruptive ads. Why you need Google Go app on your older Android device by Lifehacker. Google Pixel phone sales up dramatically from Extreme Tech. Android Q AMA from Slash Gear. Particles, Fluids, Galaxy LWP by Rubbish Collector. Origame by Ketchup. LaserBreak 2 by Environment Dev. Hipcamp camping app tent RV cabin campgrounds by Hipcamp Inc. I Became a Dog by We Like Games. MasterClass Learn How to Cook, Sing, Act, and More from MasterClass Inc. HomeLog from Cameron Henage. VNC Viewer Remote Desktop from Real VNC Limited. Mobile Observatory 3 Pro Astronomy by Wolfgang Zima. Economist World in Figures from the Economist Newspaper Limited, and Turtle, the secure collaborative notebook. I want to thank everyone again for downloading. Thank everyone for subscribing. Ivor, do you have any parting words?
Yeah. I spent about an hour today in a clinic, which had a lot of people who have a lot of problems. And I think if you're ever getting down about how bad things are going in your life, and you're depressed and you're having trouble, just go and spend half an hour in a clinic where people are willing to have their blood tested or whatever, and you see some pretty shocking examples of humanity where people have it much than you. So you're saying there's always someone who has much than you is quite true, and I learned that too. So cheer up.
Gotcha. Josh, you have any parting words?
Yes, Door, you did really, really good tonight. Ivor, you got to fix your microphone. And everybody else, thanks for your support, and send in more emails. And I will make sure that I get on Door that we can read some next week.
Very cool. Thank you guys very much. This has been another fun-filled, packed episode of Android App Hacks. I want to thank everyone for coming out, and we will talk to everyone again real soon.
Do you want us to stop Audacity?
Yep, go ahead and stop it.
547.
Yes.
Man, Ivor, your microphone is terrible.
I'll say on Windows, we were getting analog feedback. Does the mic plug up via an analog jack?
Yeah.
Okay, you never ever want any mic that connects via analog ever, unless you're willing to spend like $80 on cables.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I tested it. I thought it was all sorted out, and everything fell and went off. So I'm just going to go and buy a proper bloody microphone.
Well,
I thought you had one.
No, I do, but it's not enough. So, how do you connect from your mic to your computer door?
Mine's via XLR, which is
Mine's
Yeah, I've got that too.
USB.
But does it go to a 3.5 millimeter jack or a 6.5 millimeter jack?
no,
That's the.
neither.
Is that the 5-pin or 4-pin
Yeah.
round job?
Right.
Is your microphone's not a USB even, Ivor?
I tried a USB. I do have a USB cable, and it was terrible. It didn't work at all.
Yeah.
You have to change the computer, I think.
Yeah,
This is my actual mic connector, but this just goes to my other hardware.
Oh, so that goes into.
This goes to the back of the mic.
So what is that?
It's called XLR.
Yeah, I've got that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But where does it plug into the computer?
And it doesn't, because a computer will never have this interface. It then plugs up to a USB audio interface, which connects via USB.
So like an external.
Yeah, you want analog connections as far away from the computer as possible, because fans and power supplies will always come across.
Yeah. Can you send me a link for the device you're using to plug your microphone into?
Okay, but really all you need is a USB microphone. But the gimmick is, on any computer that isn't brand new, what you need is a USB powered hub, because any computer that's even 3 or 4 years old, the hub on USB starts to degrade to where it's hard for it to power stuff. Because like the mic I suggest because like the mic I suggest is literally only like a $46 microphone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just USB straight.
Okay.
You know.
All right.
Yeah, on my old computer, Ivor, even with the USB, it always had a hum, no matter what port I put it in. So it might just be the computer.
Yeah, and like if there's anything else, like if you have even like 6 USB ports on the back of your computer, you only have probably 2 hubs. And if you have too much connected to it, it will start to act flaky and funky. I have mine going to a laptop dock, and then my main rig is a laptop computer.
Yeah. Right. Okay, I'll try a USB cable again, but connect it to a hub so I don't get the other machine sound. Yeah.
Well, and to be honest, the second thing I would do on Windows is connect the microphone. Then you have to open up your sound properties and go into your recording options, and every single recording option delete except for the microphone.
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the other problem is that with the change over to Linux, it wouldn't recognize my my USB Wi-Fi dongle, which is
well. You're on Wi-Fi,
and you never ever want to be on Wi-Fi ever.
That's a big problem too.
That explains a lot, because Wi-Fi is good. The only reason it's good at streaming video is because it can cache and buffer stuff, because Wi-Fi always drops every 15 to 30 seconds. You have an actual complete loss of Wi-Fi signal, regardless of whatever protocol you're using. And when we have bi-directional conversation, literally every X number of seconds, we're going to stop hearing you, or you're going to stop hearing us to some degree, or our video and stuff is going to come out of sync to you.
I think that was happening too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and everything
Um,
in these applications, you never want to mute the Hangout mic, because then what happens is your operating system says, now I don't hear anything, so let me jack the volume up a lot, because it tries to auto adjust gain based upon what's going on to try to make sounds not as sharp. And when you do that, the computer doesn't know what to do. And it's really difficult in Windows or Linux to disable auto gain adjustment. In
okay. Yep.
Windows 8 and 10, I've never found a way to do it.
I didn't know that. I am constantly muting my.
Well, in Linux, typically when you start to use PAVU control after logging in, once you load that graphical application, it seems to, on most distributions, stop auto gain adjustments unless you're using KDE, because KDE is the worst thing ever created for Linux.
No, not using KDE.
Obviously, you're not, because stuff's working.
Yeah. Okay. I will try a few test calls with my wife or something before next week.
Well, if you want to schedule something with me, don't hesitate, man.
Okay.
Just tell me when you're here.
If I'm available too, Ivor.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, guys.
No problem. Because I know if I ask my wife to test, wouldn't turn out too good.
Well, that's what she said last time I checked it with her. She goes, "How does it sound?" She said, "Okay, I can hear you." Tells me a lot.
Yeah, and hold on 1 second, Josh. Let me show you this here. Let me plug this up. Where's my plug? Here. Plug this up. And then let me unplug one cable. And I believe I have enough slack here to do it. To say, nope, I don't. So what I'll do is this and say,
What are you on about, Dor? Oh. You got it, huh? Oh my God, man. Look at that.
in all its glory.
Did you have to get a higher amperage to your house to run it?
No. I have my let me do this for the listeners at home. I have my RAV power brick that can charge and discharge at the
Yeah, I know. Yeah, right.
yeah, so I got that so I can have my Raspberry Pi running nice and solid, and I tax it as much as I want to, and it hasn't gone above 36 degrees, which is basically almost idling temperature.
Is that is there a blue LED inside of that fan?
Yeah.
And then what are you running on there?
Oh, right now I'm just running the normal Raspbian Pixel desktop.
So what are you doing to benchmark it or to?
Well, I did a like infinite copy to dev null just to see, how it would act and react. I didn't do. There's a couple people I saw that had a good command to do stress testing, and I didn't get a chance to do it yet.
Yeah. Do you want me to record an intro?
Sure, if you got something.
Sure. All right. Oh, I guess I should probably record it then. On this week's edition of Android App Addicts, Ivor looks good but sounds terrible. Daredevil. What are we doing here? On this week's edition of Android App Addicts, Ivor looks good but sounds terrible. Dor does a fantastic job, and Josh is mediocre as usual. that all right?
As long as they're recorded.
You can put something like Coke on Android App Addicts. All this and more on Android App Addicts at the end or something.
What's that?
You could put something like all this and more on on Android App Addicts coming up now. or
Oh,
something.
I said at the beginning, didn't I?
Yeah, that's what you did. Yeah.
Yeah, I put it this week's installment or whatever of, but going forward, that's not a bad idea. Are you saying you want me to redo it, Ivor?
Of course not. No, excellent as it was. I was just offering constructive feedback.
Oh, there's definitely feedback.
Oh man,
Uh,
just looking at this. This is a 2-hour upload. This OGG file, and this I'm using this Wi-Fi route, which is the other half of my problem.
yeah, you got to get on.
So,
you got to get a hard line, man.
I'm on a cable, through a cable. Yeah. All right.
Even
I've got to go
a
and collect the kids from school.
Ethernet over power line device, which you can get for like $20, will be 10 times better than Wi-Fi.
Okay. All right. Well,
You out of here?
All right.
Later, man.
yeah, I gotta go. See ya.
I'm using the Nextcloud app there, Door.
Gotcha. Yeah, the desktop one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the desktop one works really good. I'm actually shocked at how well it works.
Took me a while to figure out how to find the folder, though.
Yeah. Well, you got to make sure you enable the app correctly to be an executable.
Yeah.
Then you have to bypass my self-signed cert, which it doesn't make super easy. Yeah. Then you have to do the whole folder mapping thing. But after that,
I haven't even mapped the folder. Although it looks like it's just in the home directory. So I did a search and it didn't come up with anything as to where it actually was.
yeah, there is one step where I think you can change where that folder is, but I'm like, why?
So does the app have to be running in order for the folder to sync?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's just if you kill the app, the folder will still exist, but nothing will sync.
Okay.
And then I believe when you load it up, if it's confused what to do, it will literally prompt you and say, keep local files, or I'm trying to remember the verbiage, keep local files or update. I can't remember the word it uses, but it uses a weird verbiage.
Cool. I like it though. I like using that. I'm a big proponent of Nextcloud.
Yeah, I like the fact that you can, if you then create subfolders, you can go through the interface and selectively pick and say, update, keep this folder, update on the cloud, ignore this folder. You don't have to do them all.
Sweet. And if you're still listening, pretty sure that Diet Pie has Nextcloud, don't they?
They do. Never got to work right.
Oh yeah.
Never.
I'll give you a peek here, Dora, as to what's behind the green curtain. Maybe I'm gonna break my drone. Okay.
I was hoping to see a fridge full of beer.
What's that?
I was hoping to see a fridge full of beer.
No, this is So there's the orange pie +2.
Oh yeah.
Only it seems like support for orange pie is just getting worse than it was before.
Well, You know, they have to do their part to encourage support and development.
So
Oh,
there's
yeah.
the 2 gig and 4 gig.
Very cool.
What else we got here? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 5. Maybe 5 Raspberry Pi 3s floating around.
It is thundering like hell out there. All right, Rich. I am here. I'm just bookmarking all the apps. I find it really hard lately to bookmark the apps. I'm just talking to myself.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't have my headphones on.
I'm just bookmarking the apps right now. And I can tell you, it is going to be, there's no way the show's getting published tonight. No way.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal, man.
It's going to take every bit of 3 hours to edit.
So brutal. I ever show you this setup? So this is a 0W
Huh.
on a UPS hat
No.
with a 3.5, 3.7.
Oh, yeah.
And then, but the kicker is this guy.
Oh, yeah. There's those are the panels.
So that's a 28 watt solar panel. So
Well,
this thing, go ahead.
I was gonna say the battery alone, just using the battery, my logic is that thing would last hours and hours and hours.
It does. So I've used it for internet in a box.
Right.
And and so that is fairly, I mean, just having the Wi-Fi hotspot drains it pretty quick, I think. Well,
Gotcha.
quicker anyway.
Hipcamp. So was I became a dog? Yeah, it was free. Yeah, it's free. Yeah, between us, without him listening, I became a dog almost reminded me of the old, I want to say Super Nintendo game, Earthbound. I don't know why, because it's really not like Earthbound, but for some reason it just reminded me of Earthbound, which is the game that it is absolutely, literally insane how long that game takes to play. Even if you know everything what you're doing perfectly, I want to say it's still like 11 hours. But because if you didn't know back then or have a book, you had to figure it out all on your own. It was one of the kind of games you would own, and it would take, a year to beat.
Which one are you talking about? Sorry, I didn't have my headphones on.
Earthbound.
Ah.
Old Super Nintendo.
Never
game.
heard of it. Super Nintendo? I don't know what is that.
So the Super Famicom.
Yeah, so this is what I was also thinking that Ivor's may have been, but looking at it now, which is the Orange Pi Zero.
Oh yeah. Well, they're all sister products. Don't let anyone fool you.
Yeah.
They're all pressed at the same place.
Notice how, yes, this one as well. Heat sink. Heat sink on there.
You better. I think it'll burn your house down.
But is this, this may be the favorite little piece of hardware that I haven't had enough time to play with, though, as far as a single board computer.
Oh, ESP, maybe
No.
Arduino.
This is an ESP.
Oh yeah.
Dud door looks so much different.
Jeez, I'm an idiot.
No, it's a NanoPi Duo.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't remember this. It's quad core.
Yeah.
I think it's 512 as well.
NanoPis, in my opinion, don't play around, man.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before. Like I do enjoy them.
Android.
Cortex A7 quad core.
Dang.
512.
Well, without that dumb I don't want to say 512 is all you need, but 512 will get you far.
Yeah, for this thing. Well, that's the thing, is like the Pi Zero was good, I suppose, but just having the single core, like that's just a nut punch.
Yeah, exactly. And begging to overheat and throttle down. Ow. What should I use to cool the Atomic Pi? Nothing. It comes with a heatsink that's gigantic. Right there.
That is huge.
Yeah. You don't nothing. This thing's been running for 3 weeks straight, and I do stuff on it. I can barely feel any heat on it whatsoever. Like literally, I can barely feel any heat on it. And even when you do stuff on it, you barely feel any heat because it's gigantic.
You got $47 worth of aluminum on there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm in aluminum.
Yeah, and the whole thing was, the whole board itself was only like $40. I mean, they're losing money in aluminum alone. Yeah, I don't like how the base is, because it doesn't sit flat. And I tried to print a couple of things out, and it didn't really work right.
There you go, BW. There's your Arduino.
Yeah.
Can you see if those files, did they upload correctly?
Oh,
Billy?
yeah. One second. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. I'm just interested to.
I see intro 217 kilobytes and 547 Josh 88.8 megs.
If you say so. Now, where am I here? 47.
Yeah, and then if you pull up the app itself,
Does it? Oh, it moves it.
Oh yeah, quick too. It has a
No.
faster connection than web.
No, but I mean, it actually. Oh, it moves the file. It doesn't copy it. It moves it into that folder. I figured it
Gotcha.
would just copy it, but it moves it.
And if you open up the app interface next to where it shows you Nextcloud synchronized with local folder to the
Yeah.
right hand side, if you click that square, you can say force sync now if you want to be sure.
Yeah, gotcha. That's it's like In Sync.
Yep.
Not the band.
I know. I have that installed too.
I know.
And it works really good. Even though the interface isn't the best, it works really good. And it doesn't matter. I can't publish anything yet because I don't have Ivor's files. And something tells me I'm not going to get his files.
Ooh. What happens if you don't get them?
Then I got to pull the YouTube audio, which is never as good.
Well, it couldn't be any worse.
Oh, yes, it can.
Oh, shit.
YouTube audio is worse. All right, I got to kill the stream and upload this video at least.
Hey, how big is that atomic pie?
It's 110. I want to say 110 by 110
Mil?
millimeters by 20 millimeters, I believe.
It's actually not that big, huh?
Oh, I know. It's not. It isn't close to as big as I thought it was. That's what she said.
If I had $1 for everything.
It says it's. That can't be right. That can't be right. Let's go to this one. Let's see what this says. It doesn't say anything. Let's see what this one says.
16 gig eMMC.
On Amazon, it said yeah, there's no way. Oh, package dimensions 7 by 4.5 by 2.5. Yeah, I don't care. Who really cares about the package dimensions?
That's what she said.
I know. Man, my eyes are killing me.
Did you kill the stream?
Nope.
Okay.
No, I'm trying to figure out these damn numbers.
So it's got the one you have. It's got 16 gig of eMMC. The atomic pie.
Yes. I couldn't remember if this was the one I had to put the EMC on or not. Yeah.
Nice. That's something that the Raspberry Pi is still lacking.
Yeah. There's no reason either why.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
How much did it cost you there?
50. I want to say it was $55 after shipping.
For the 4 gig?
For the Pi? Yeah. It was 55 before shipping with the Raspberry Pi.
Wow, I think it's 75 here. Brutal.
I don't understand why I'm having such a hard time finding the dimensions for this damn thing.
You still looking for the atomic pie?
Yeah. Why is it so hard? I could have swore something I read said 120 by 120 by something. I mean, or 110.
Do you have a tape measure there?
Nope.
130 by 100 by 50 is what
That
I
sounds
do.
better. Yeah. Because one side
Yeah.
is a touch longer.
Yeah. Wow, 4 amp recommended. Whew.
Yeah, I got. No, it came. Did I reuse? Can't remember now if I reused one of my power bricks or not. I want to say I used one of my Rock 64 adapters. Yeah, there it is. 130 by 100 by 50 is what this one says.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fair. All right, I'm going to kill the stream. Thank you, guys.
Later,
How
guys.
many? We got 2 likes.